The Giants, what did I tell everybody? By the way, I love starting sentences that way. Started the show that way. Don't let the Bills in the playoffs.
You like to be right.
I might be wrong eventually, but who knows? Right now, though, I told everybody. I told you, Chris. I told Alan Dallas. Daniel Jones is going to be your quarterback next year.
That doesn't mean it's the right move.
Dude, I understand.
So,
what are they? What's their final draft order? Fifth? Is that what the Giants are?
let's take a
fifth,
quick
or
look
did they
there.
win?
Let's
Their win probably move that up to sixth. There they are.
They're sixth.
There they are.
They're sixth.
There they are.
They cost themselves a spot.
And so they're sixth. You know what they're not choosing sixth? A quarterback. It ain't happening, Giants fans.
Penix lights it up tonight.
Penix is not going to be drafted sixth overall by the New York Giants, who need a lot of help. Still. Joe Schoen, the general manager, sitting next to the head coach, had exactly that to say about Daniel Jones today. Does this sound like
I feel like you can build a team around a quarterback who has that injury history now, with 2 neck injuries and now a torn ACL?
Yes. Yeah, I mean it's football and guys get hurt. I mean you can't always predict it. I mean I think guys that have previous injuries, there's some. You got to look at the injuries individually and what they were, how they were caused. But I got a lot of faith in our training staff as well. So again, hopefully he'll be back for week 1. Again, we don't have a crystal ball here, but we'll continue to build the team the way we see best.
There it is.
You need to add to that room someone who can potentially start and compete with Daniel for a job?
Well, there's a chance he's not ready week 1. So yeah, I mean you got to sign somebody that can hope plan for the worst, hope for the best. Like you plan for him not being ready. So you're going to need somebody that can hopefully win you some games early on if he's not ready.
And if he's healthy, you anticipate him to be healthy at some point, start of the season or early in the season. Do you have the same faith of him right now as you did when you signed him to the contract?
Yes.
I know what you're thinking, Chris. Those two guys, and Joe Schoen came on the show.
I like him.
I like him and I like Dable. Those look like two guys who are making this decision, who have been given the license to make this decision, who will lose their jobs because of that very moment right there.
1,000%.
You believe that?
I believe that. Daniel Jones, they're not going to go to the playoffs, and those guys will be on the street in less than 2 years if they stick with this guy.
Man, he looked like Colin Kaepernick in the win against the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm wondering if that turns out to be fool's gold, then you're right.
Ooh, it was one game.
And then this year, it just was none of that before he got hurt. None of that before he got hurt.
Yeah, no glimpse.
And then better after they put in Tommy Cutlets and then Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
So that's the plan, even though he's not going to be ready week 1.
And if he is, he's a guy that rushed back from a major knee injury and a neck injury this year.
And then there's Saquon Barkley. We're back at it again with him now that we're turning the page because he's a free agent if they let him hit the open market, and it sure doesn't look like they're going to let him hit the open market. This is what Joe Schoen had to say about getting Saquon back in the fold.
Again, Saquon and I will talk about that. That's a tool we have at our disposal. It wasn't when we redid his deal before he came to camp. That wasn't taken out of that deal. It wasn't a hey, we'll do this, but no franchise tag. So that's an option we have on the table. We'll have those conversations. I'm not saying we will or we won't. A lot of those conversations will be had, over the next month or so.
And in terms of Saquon, if you remember, they franchise tagged him. He got pissed. He started holding out and then started saying some very un-Saquon-like things, like saying, maybe I should tell the team to go F off, right? Remember they said that on the pod, on a podcast? And then the Giants offered him an incentive plan to just come in from the fold. And this just in, we looked at it. The incentives that would have paid him, like $300,000 each or something like that?
Yeah, it was like
1,350 yards rushing. He had 962. 11 touchdowns. He had 10. 65 catches. He had 41. He missed just 3 games. but he also had, as you know, a revolving door at quarterback. An ineffective Daniel Jones, and then Tyrod Taylor gets hurt, and then they go with Tommy Cutlets, who actually, starts playing football to the point where he was the football version of Jeremy Lin, and then Taylor comes back in. And so if you're wondering how this whole sits with Saquon, because Joe Shane said they're going to talk about this because it's a tool in their arsenal, if you will, having a franchise tag. Saquon was asked about it today, and the quote from Saquon Barkley, I believe, got tweeted out by Pat Leonard of the Daily News. Quote, "They did it last year, so I'm numb to it. I don't have any feelings towards that at all. If you're going to do it, just don't wait until March 5. Just get it over with. If not, let me go. Simple."
Oh, wow.
And let me just, so he's
gone.
Well, no, or he's in no mood. Like, sign him. Sign him. And I'm back in this position again because I don't get it. I don't get it. He's 100,000%, and I know that's an exaggeration, their best offensive player. There's nobody in his realm. I know they've got speedy receivers, and I know Darren Waller used to be really, really, really good. And when he was healthy, again, he got hurt. This guy is, without a doubt, their most famous player, their most beloved player, their Walter Payton Man of the Year candidate, and is an absolute gem in every way, shape, or form. Sign him. Honestly. And you're holding out hope that your $40 million a year quarterback is still worth throwing your entire possible Giants careers into hoping his neck and his knee is ready. You're fine. We have no doubts about him, but I don't understand it. And all I keep thinking of is the Indianapolis Colts, who took the hard line with Jonathan Taylor. What happened when the rubber met the road Saturday night in a win-or-go-home, do-or-die game? What happened? He ripped one off from midfield to change the tenor of the game when it looked like the Texans were about to take this thing. And then in the fourth quarter, when they had to have it on the drive, they kept handing it to him after he probably, had a moment in the locker room to get his heel right. Comes out, they keep on handing it to him and handing it. I'm like, oh, so suddenly this guy's valuable after all, huh? Oh, the guy that you needed to see healthy before you signed? Oh, okay.
I mean, they lost the game. Anyway.
Dude,
Well,
but
that's to your point.
But when it came down to
they
it,
pull him off the field, and then what happens?
and then they put somebody else in the game, and they put it in Gardner Minshew's hands, and then the ball gets wound up on the ground. Honestly,
They should left the man in
when
the game.
push comes to shove, I know they lost, Chris, but the bottom line is the only reason why they had a chance to win it was because of 2-8. And 2-6 in New York is the guy. So I understand you got to say this in front of a microphone, but Barkley is clearly in no mood for it again. Just get it done. It's crazy that you're going to have to, play with fire with the running back, but with the quarterback who looks overpaid and could cost you your jobs. Oh, yeah, we're ready to go with him. I don't get it. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.